profound brain changes of pregnancy revealed in a scientific first. The human body undergoes profound physiological changes during pregnancy, and the brain is no exception. Neuroscientists in the US have now provided the first detailed map of the human brain across gestation. The breakthrough is based on the neurological changes of one first-time mother who had snapshots of her brain taken before, during, and after pregnancy. As the pregnancy advanced, researchers noticed a widespread shrinking of gray matter, which is the brain tissue that includes the bodies of neurons. While shrinking parts of the brain might sound scary, these changes are probably for the best. They may reflect a rewiring of the brain's finite tissue for motherhood. Researchers found the links between neurons, which make up white matter, had increased their connectivity in the final 2 trimesters of pregnancy. When neuronal circuits are fine-tuned for whatever reason, gray matter tends to be pruned back while white matter connections increase, allowing information to travel around the brain more efficiently. Neuroscientist Emily Jacobs from the University of California, Santa Barbara, compares the process to Michelangelo's chipping away at a carving of David, the statue of David, that is. The artist starts with a giant big block of marble, she explains, but through careful honing, it turns into a refined piece of art. And we've never witnessed the brain in the midst of this metamorphosis, Jacobs said. We were able to observe sweeping changes in gray matter volume, cortical thickness, white matter microstructures, and ventricle volume as it all unfolded week by week. Not so long ago, neuroscientists used to think the human brain was hardwired with fixed circuits of neurons, and now we know better. The brain is actually soft-wired, meaning it is plastic and malleable, undergoing significant changes as we learn and age. The idea of plasticity took the field of neuroscience by storm, and now another revolution is on the horizon. To date, barely 2% of neuroimaging studies mention sex hormones as influential factors, even though the few papers that are published suggest there is a statistically significant association between sex, steroids, and changes in the brain. In 2024, for instance, researchers documented in detail the structural changes that take place in the brain as hormones change during menstruation. But there are only a handful of studies that have investigated what happens to the brain during pregnancy, according to neuroscientist Elizabeth Chastel from University of California, Irvine. In 2017, researchers showed that pregnancy coincided with significant reductions in gray matter, and in 2022, a follow-up study among 28 volunteers found that pregnancy hormones change the way the brain's networks are wired. There's so much about the neurobiology of pregnancy that we don't understand yet, and it's not because women are too complicated. It's not because pregnancy is some Gordian knot, says Jacobs. It's a byproduct of the fact that the biomedical sciences have historically ignored women's health. It's 2024, and it's the first glimpse we have at this fascinating neurobiological transition. The new MRI study tracked a 38-year-old woman who had not had kids before and who underwent in vitro fertilization, IVF, to achieve pregnancy. The female participant underwent 26 MRI scans in total, including 4 scans 3 weeks before conception, multiple scans in the first, second, and third trimester, and 7 scans in the 2 years postpartum. Researchers also took blood samples from the participant throughout this timeline. During pregnancy, over 80% of the brain region that neuroscientists examined showed reductions in gray matter of about 4% on average, although everything returned to normal at the end of the pregnancy. That's about the same magnitude of change observed during puberty, the authors say. How these brain changes relate to behavioral changes is unknown. All we have at the moment are animal studies to point to, and the majority of these are conducted on male brains. In pregnant rodents, some studies have found a surge in estrogen and progesterone reprograms brain circuits like the hypothalamus, which enhances the mother's sensitivity to the smells and sounds of her newborn pups. Perhaps something similar is happening in humans, although our physiology is more complex and the findings among rodents may not relate. This paper really opens up more questions than it answers, because really we're just starting to scratch the surface of understanding what does this mean for postpartum depression, or how does pregnancy possibly help alleviate some things like migraines, says Krasto. This is really just a sort of opening up the box. The study was published in Nature Neuroscience. Isn't that interesting? The woman does go back to normal after giving birth, of course. This is by Carly Casella on Science Alert. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.